They call it pink gold. Potash is a vital ingredient for growing food, and Canada has more of it than anywhere else in the world, with the largest reserves and production volume. It's now being touted as a secret weapon in this trade war with the United States. Joining us this morning is Eric Anderson. He is the Executive Director, Saskatchewan Industrial and Mining Suppliers Association. Listen, I know you changed a flight to be here with us this morning, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
First of all, I think, when people see the Globe and Mail, they may not know about potash, but when the Globe and Mail has a full color picture and calls it pink gold, people pay attention. What makes it such a vital and irreplaceable ingredient for food production?
But think of it as the basis of most food.
Yeah.
Right? So it's fertilizer. So go to your bag in the garage or your Miracle-Gro thing.
Yeah.
There's 3 numbers on it. The third number is the potash content.
Right.
So half of the world's food supply is directly attributable to fertilizer. So fertilizer is food, right?
Yeah.
Potash is fertilizer. Then there's only 2 places in the world to really get it. Here in Canada, well, Saskatchewan, hello.
Yes.
And you're from Shaunavon.
My sister was born in Lanigan, and my family lived in Shaunavon.
Well, there's a potash mine in Lanigan. So there you go. Anyway, it's either there, right, or Belarus and Russia.
Wow.
And so you only have 2 choices for any sizable production.
And this is why it is such a valuable export for Canada. In 2023, the U.S. produced about 400,000 tons of potash, but they consumed 5.3 million tons of it.
Yeah.
So what does its capacity to produce potash domestically look like? And I ask that because President Trump has talked about, I want automakers in the U.S., I want things made in the U.S. so that we're not importing from places like Canada, but can they?
Well, if the potash deposits are laid down by a dissolving sea, right?
Okay.
So you kind of know where they are. There's only 2 real big basins in the world that are substantial. So that's part one. The other thing is our members build potash mines, right? We're the people that do that. It takes a decade to build one of these things, and it costs, what, over $10 billion. Look at BHP right now, building the world's largest, this big potash mine in Saskatchewan. Well, it's over $10 billion, and it's taking a decade to do it. You got to basically build an upside-down skyscraper that's a kilometer in, and you got to build 2 of them and then connect them, because now you're just standing in a tube, and then you got to build underground like a town.
Yeah.
All that has to go in place, then you can produce. So this isn't a quick fix, even if they have the deposits.
Yeah, because we've got it, and we've got it ready to go.
Yeah.
So then it really puts Saskatchewan in a really key position when we're talking about trade war and negotiations and having some leverage. Yeah. But it also means that you're slapped with 25% tariffs in this industry.
Well, and tariffs aren't good for anybody. I mean, and this one's different. We're not talking about cars, that you could choose to not get a car or not. This is food. This is the production of food production, right? It's one of those things that the price of food goes up, interest rates go up, everything goes bad, and this is different. It's not a luxury item, it's not an optional item. We need to eat, and this one needs to be treated completely differently. You know, people talk about it as a weapon in a trade war. Yeah. Some weapons you don't use.
Really? Why do you say that?
Well, this is different. This is food. This is food supplies. This isn't a car.
When President Trump gave his speech last night, he talked directly to American farmers, and he said, look, there's going to be a little bit of what he characterized as discomfort over the next little bit. I imagine part of that is talking about the difficulty or the expense in getting potash to grow their food. Well,
the people that talk about the little more than on the intricacies of that would be the mining companies themselves. They know that stuff. But the simple logic is, if the price of the fertilizer goes up that much,
food prices go up.
Everything goes up, and it's food.
If you think that it's a weapon that shouldn't be used, what should we do with this kind of leverage then?
Well, I think that is the tricky one. I think that's the one that the senior people at Nutrien and Mosaic are currently producing, or perhaps even BHP is looking at producing. They meet with government and they figure this one out, because it's a delicate one, because this isn't an option.
You and I both know that has worked in the past, but we are dealing with an entirely different set of rules. And we know that it doesn't matter what conversations happen with the governors across the border. Yeah. What comes out of the White House is what happens. So then what conversation needs to have at the White House level?
Well, I think that there's just a reminder of the narrative I just told you. This is food. And I think once that gets clarified and understood, and then the cost to farmers and the lack of options, I think things will sort themselves out almost. It's one of those things that It may be a lever you don't even have to use.
Listen, as a young woman who grew up in the Pilsner Triangle, I cannot believe that Canada is talking about potash, but it is about time. Thanks for framing this for us this morning.
Great to be here.
Appreciate
Thank
you being
you.
here.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.